This might be the most heavily armed public school in America. In the rural town of Sydney, Ohio, would-be attackers are warned at each entrance to every school. Scattered throughout this school are several safes, opened with a fingerprint, that put a Glock 19 handgun in reach of a team of teachers and staff trained to take out a shooter.
I don't necessarily like having guns in school either. Mental health, backpacks, background checks, assault rifles, gun control laws, all of those things I don't necessarily disagree with, but at the same time, all of those things combined are not going to stop an active shooter.
5 years before President Trump said this,
if you had a teacher who was adept at firearms, they could very well end the attack very quickly.
Educators like this former soldier were volunteering to train for classroom combat.
Back when we first started this, I second-guessed whether this was the correct thing to do, and sometimes I still do. But if we save one student, or we save a whole building worth of students, I think it's worth it. I think it's it's just sad that we have to do that now.
After the massacre at Connecticut's Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012, Sheriff John Lenhart decided that if anyone starts shooting here, there would be a small army to fire back.
In America, I cannot wait on the state. I cannot wait on the federal government. I can't wait on psychologists to figure out why one person hurts another person. You have to protect yourselves. If I could wave a wand and make it all go away, I would prefer no guns, period. But that's not going to happen in the States.
Each school in Sydney also has an armed deputy, and each classroom is numbered on the outside so first responders can pinpoint a gunman. The locations of the weapons and the identities of the first responders are secret, so that if a gunman came to this school, he wouldn't know who might be armed. And because it's all caught on camera, the first responders can see him. Many teachers say they're already overburdened without adding security to their duties.
They're there to teach, so what they'd rather have than guns is to have training on how to identify mental health problems.
But here in Sydney, some parents have reluctantly come around.
It's not the world I think any of us want to live in, but I think it's the reality of where we're at. And, you know, we take all kinds of measures to protect banks and our money and museums, and why wouldn't we do the same thing for our kids?
As shaken schools across the U.S. return to focusing on the so-called 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, here in Sydney they've added a 4th, responder. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Sydney, Ohio.